Hello, Dancing with the Stars fans. I'm Gold Derby editor Daniel Montgomery here with our contributors Cordell Martin and Jeffrey Kare. We are here to talk about what just happened. A grueling week of Dancing with the Stars happened. We're recording this on Thursday night. The Disney two-night event happened on Monday and Tuesday. Disney Heroes on Monday night, Disney Villains on Tuesday night. A lot of dancing, and some surprises, I would say, in the scoring and in the results on night two. More pleasant surprises than I was expecting. So let's start with the good news in terms of well, actually, the good news is also kind of the eliminations for us. I don't want to be mean, but the happier news in terms of the scores, we had Melora Hardin really had a breakthrough week where she had a jazz routine on Villains Night. That was night two. She had a quick step on night one. Both nights she had the highest score. And when the nights were combined, obviously, then she had the highest score by 3 full points over the next highest on the leaderboard, which was JoJo and Olivia. So I think the 10 she got from Len on Tuesday night was a little much. I love Laura. She's one of the best this season. I want her to stick around as long as possible. Especially for the first 10 of the season to come from Len, that was weird. What did you think about that, Cordell?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not surprised that Len gave her 10. With Len and, being a longtime fan of the show, he definitely loves or favors celebrities who give him more of a traditional dance style. Like he loves tradition. And Meloria fits that, box for him, just in terms of just her lyricism and just how smooth she is with her dancing. Like she's not into the whole hip hop, as Lynn likes to say, or the more contemporary things. She's just one of those straight shooters that just goes right into the dance. And so he loves that. So I'm not surprised that he would give her a 10 as opposed to the front runners like an Amanda or JoJo.
What did you think about it, Jeffrey?
Oh, I thought her routine on Heroes Night was terrifically bouncy. As for Villains Night, well, I'm not sure if Mother Knows Best is the best song to dance to in the ballroom, but I thought she and Artem both at least did a pretty good job with their performance. And, well, I guess we should also point out Laura did her own singing of that song that was pre-recorded, which, hey, that was a nice touch. And I do agree that, yeah, I think the 10 might have been a little much from Len, but hey, I'm at least glad she's, improving.
Yeah, and I feel like this is putting her on the map in a sense that like she's no longer at risk of like fading into the background or like being one of those kind of middle of the pack dancers who people forget about. Like she's got attention on her now, which is good and bad because it also means the pressure is up for her to keep it up. The singing on Mother Knows Best was impressive. I do think a thing about that dance, for me, I think a lot of these pros, they get a jazz routine and they're not entirely sure what to do with them.
Yes.
Because they're very kind of loose, they're kind of fun, but like I didn't feel like the choreography was really quite there in terms of like, the content of it. It was a well-told story and Melora sold it. I do think that Carrie Ann was actually kind of right, which is something that we don't always say. When she said it was a little safe because it didn't feel like it pushed Melora as a dancer as much. Still very good, but also like, didn't push her like the quick step pushed her. But again, I am happy to see her continue on with this. And she was safe from elimination. No surprise being at the top of the leaderboard. So let's talk about the bottom of the leaderboard and of the pack terms of they both were eliminated. It turned out to be a double elimination night, which we didn't know going in until Tyra announced it on Tuesday. But it's not too surprising. They did 2 nights of performance and there was no elimination on the first night. So it seemed reasonable that they might do a double elimination. And I was full on expecting, Kenya Moore got a middle of the pack score. So I'm like, okay, she's probably doomed. And the bottom 2 in the leaderboard were Brian Austin Green and Matt James from Bachelor. We knew the Bachelor thing. Oh, he'll be fine. He's the Bachelor. He has Bachelor Nation. Turned out they were the bottom three. Brian Austin Green was eliminated immediately because he was dead last when the viewer votes and judges scores were combined. And so then the judges had to pick between Matt and Kenya. And I thought it was going to be like a unanimous decision. It's like, oh, like the season up to this point, Kenya has been generally the better dancer. But no, it was like half and half, with luckily Len among the half that picked Kenya, because he's the head judge, so he gets the deciding vote when it's a tie. What did you think about that outcome being kind of like, I look at the last 11 contenders and I feel like no matter what happens, I'm kind of okay with it now. What do you think about that, Cordell?
Yeah. First off, thank the Lord. Like, I just was anticipating Matt to just go to like top 5 or 6. So I was just already preparing myself for that. As we spoke last week, I figured Brian was going to be, on the chopping block, because we didn't know it was going to be a double elimination. So the fact that he was cut early is not a surprise to me. I just knew he just wasn't connecting to the audience in terms of really enjoying himself in the process. And then with Kenya, I mean, I just figured the dance styles that she really had to bring it. And after night 1 and the social scores that she received, I was like, well, obviously it's going to be Kenya to go. But then when it was between her and Matt, I was like, to your point, Daniel, there's just no way that Kenya gets eliminated between the two of them. The only thing that was kind of confusing to me was just that, before Len voted, it was 2-1 in Matt's favor. So I just assumed that Kenya was going home. So that was interesting that Len was the deciding vote, although wouldn't it be 2-2? So I'm like, okay, so does Len has more weight behind his vote?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't really explain that. So that was the only thing that kind of just threw me for a loop. But the fact that Len saved her despite, not giving her the best scores, was very interesting. But happy that she survived and that Bachelor Nation finally came crumbling down for what. So yeah.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is they never would have had to explain it, because in past seasons, it's been a 3-judge panel, so it's with an odd number, you're never going to have a tie.
Yeah.
So with 4, you could get 2 and 2, and Len being the deciding vote. He did sort of say it as he was making his final decision, going like, oh, it's like it's me who decides who stays or goes, because he knew if he picked Kenya, then his is the deciding vote that keeps her on. And if he picked Matt, obviously, then it was 3-1 and Matt would stay. What did you think about it, Jeffrey?
Well, on the one hand, it was definitely surprising that neither Brian nor Matt neither of their respective fan bases were apparently strong enough to save them from getting eliminated this week. Though on the other hand, I'm really not too surprised, because I felt their days were numbered on the dance floor, and I agree with Cordell's sentiment that it's nice that for the 3rd year in a row, the Mirror Ball Trophy won't go to an alumni of The Bachelor. So, and that was definitely good on Len to be the one to save Kenya instead of Matt.
Yeah, and a couple of interesting things I want to bring up about these eliminations. There's some interesting eerie trends, where first off, with Bachelor Nation men, as Cordell was saying, not surprised about that with the double elimination. Matt James ended up getting eliminated. Turns out that's the kryptonite for Bachelor Nation men, is a double elimination night. This is the 4th Bachelor man in a row to go home on a double elimination night, because it happened to Grocery Store Joe, it happened to Nick Viall, it happened to Chris Soules, the last 3. But it happened to them usually later in the season. So I'm still a little surprised that he didn't have enough juice to kind of keep him in with a field of like 13 contestants. But yeah, like when there's a double elimination, the fan base isn't quite enough to keep you on if you don't have the scores. Sometimes and in this case, my bet is that Matt James was 3rd from the bottom. Like in a normal week, it would have been Kenya versus Brian Austin Green. And so, but putting him in the bottom 3 suddenly instead of a bottom 2, now you've got a choice. Now you put it in the judge's hands, and that gives Kenya the edge. What do you think about that weird kind of anomaly trend with Bachelor men, Cordell?
You know what? Now that you've mentioned it, and had we known it was going to be a double elimination last week, I would have been more prone to predict Matt possibly going home. I kind of knew with them doing 2 dances within this week that they were definitely stacking the odds against one of the lesser talented male stars. Um, I, I figured that the producers probably like, if we do this just a single elimination, 1 dance a week, we might risk losing a lot of our talented women. So with them being sneaky and adding that 2 dance this week, I knew Brian will at least probably be in the bottom 2. But now that you mention it, I think maybe moving forward, that's something they need to continue doing so we can get those bachelor men out of the show earlier
Unless they're like worthy of winning, because we haven't had one of those who was really like an amazing dancer.
That is true, but I don't see that happening unless the bachelor is like a former, professional dancer or something.
Give it time. In season 49 of The Bachelor and season 46 of Dancing with Stars, whatever we're up to by then, we'll get a great dancer from Bachelor Nation, great male dancer from Bachelor Nation. What do you think about that? Double elimination of kryptonite for Bachelor men, Jeffrey?
That's a stat I never even thought about before until you just brought it up. Yeah, I guess that's something we should really take into account next time there's a man from The Bachelor competing. If there's a double elimination, we need to take it into account. You could be very vulnerable for the elimination, just as we saw what happened with Matt this past week.
And another interesting about these eliminations this week, and all season, we talk a lot about the samba being sort of the dance of death on Dancing with the Stars. It's notoriously one of the hardest, if not the hardest, styles. What's interesting, though, is every single eliminated contestant so far this season, whether they've been judged on just 1 dance or 2 dances, has gone out on a paso. A paso doble has, Martin Cove, first elimination, his first of 2 dances was a paso doble. Christine Chu, the night she was sent home, she danced the paso doble. And during the 2-night Disney event, on the 2nd night, Matt and Brian both danced paso dobles. So I'm wondering if we now have to replace samba with paso doble as the dance to beware of. Obviously, not everyone who gets the paso doble goes away, because obviously JoJo had a paso and Amanda Klutz had a paso, but they were already really strong dancers to begin with, so there was really no risk of them going home. What do you think about that, Cordell? Is the paso doble, is that what the producers will give you if they want you to go out and you're maybe not the best dancer?
That's very interesting now that you brought that up. I would say probably it just depends on the star. Those contestants who did do the paso, they're just not the best dancers, nor are they good at getting into the character of that aggression and attack that the paso calls for. But if you see on the opposite side of the spectrum with JoJo and Amanda, I mean, they killed it. So I think it just depends on, the level of competition in that given week, the star that's performing that dance style, and their fan base.
What do you think about the paso doble bad luck run, Jeffrey?
It certainly turned out to be good luck for a couple of the contestants this past week. And, I guess the producers must really want to challenge these people and see how they do. If they get it wrong, then that's bad luck. If they get it right, then, hey, that's good luck. So, it's really interesting.
And with that said, as we're recording this, the list of dances for next week's show have been announced. And I have opened up the page. I have not actually looked at these yet because I want all of us to react to these at the same time. What I will say that I did notice as soon as I opened it, it's going to be Grease night. So it will be a night inspired by the musical Grease. So songs from that film and dances will be inspired by that. And so the dances are Olivia Jade will be dancing a foxtrot to Summer Nights. I think she'll be perfectly fine. She's got the skills.
Also see her as Sandy.
Yeah. Then you've got Melora Hardin, who had such a great week. She's going to be dancing the Viennese waltz to "Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee." She'll knock that out of the park. Again, as Cordell said, traditional. Len will love it. Moving on to Iman Shumpert. He's also got a Viennese waltz to "Hopelessly Devoted to You." That'll be another challenge for him with the height difference and being whole, but he has actually handled that pretty well this season so far. The Miz is dancing a jive to "Greased Lightning," which sounds like a lot of fun if he nails it, if he gets those flicks and kicks and I feel like he's got the strength. He needs like really the agility on that one. That'll be the challenge for him. Amanda Klutz also has a Viennese waltz to "Beauty School Dropout." She'll be fine. She's right in her wheelhouse. Suni Lee, this one's interesting. She's got a Charleston to "Born to Hand Jive." And that's going to be another one that'll challenge her to really come out of her shell and bring the character and fun and emotional element of it out. Jimmy Allen is dancing a foxtrot to "Sandy." He could probably be fine. Kenya Moore. Now this will be an interesting challenge. She doesn't have the paso, so lucky her, or the samba, but she does have another Latin dance. She has a rumba to "There Are Worse Things I Could Do," and I think that could be in her wheelhouse. I think that could be something she does well at. But you've got to be really good at a rumba to be memorable, which is a challenge. Jojo Siwa has the foxtrot to "Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee" reprise. I'm guessing there aren't enough songs from Grease to go around.
So the songs from the stage musical that weren't in the movie.
Maybe. Melanie C has a quick step to "You're the One That I Want," which is one of the best known songs from the movie. Quick step is that could be a really highlight dance if she nails it.
Yep.
And Cody Rigsby also has a quick step to "We Go Together," which again, that will be fun if he can keep up with it and nail all the flicks and kicks and the fast pace of it. So looking at these, I feel like it's like just a fastball down the middle for like Amanda. She's like set. Melora is set. Like giving them waltzes is like giving them a week off almost. Mm-hmm. What do you think? I don't think they threw anyone like under the bus with these dances. What do you think about them, Cordell?
Yeah, I mean, I think these are pretty fair in terms of the dance styles and the songs that are with those dance styles. I would say probably Kenya, it's going to be rough for her to not escape the bottom two, just because, with Grease, you think of fun and lighthearted and exciting music. And a lot of people have those show-stopping dance styles, memorable dance styles that, to your point with the rumba, either you go the sexy route that makes it memorable, or you're just a natural great dancer that you can do, the nice splits and all the hip action, that if she's not able to do one of the two and really stand out, I definitely could see her in the bottom. I think this could be Melanie C's breakthrough dance. She's athletic, I think in terms of the stamina, I think she's gonna be able to bring it, and it's an iconic song from that soundtrack. So I think this would be great for her, and hopefully this could be a great opportunity for Cody to kind of move back up to the top and have a breakthrough dance for himself. Let's see who else. And I think for Iman, I think he's gonna do well with the Viennese waltz. He's giving me Nelly vibes. Like I feel like he's just the people's champ this season. That I could definitely see him going all the way to possibly the finals.
I feel like pro wrestler The Miz will be offended that you called anyone else the people's champion. Although if The Miz tries to be the people's champ, then they're going to bring back The Rock to fight him at WrestleMania. It'll be a whole thing. Just not worth it. What do you think about the dance styles, Jeffrey?
Well, it should be interesting to see how they're all executed and all, and I'm definitely be most curious to see how Olivia does dancing to Summer Nights, how the Miz does dancing to Grease Lightning, and especially Amanda, the Broadway veteran, dances to Beauty School Dropout. So hey, again, I'm very interested in seeing how they're going to pull off, what the production values will be, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Suni getting a Charleston, because one of the good things about Suni getting a Charleston is that Charleston can be very acrobatic, and she's got that done. Like, that's the easy part for her. So if she can get some of those moves into it, and Sasha can really choreograph towards that, then it might be easier to find the kind of fun in it. So I hope for that. About Kenya with the rumba, I feel like Brandon, as a choreographer for this one, needs to get his inner Gleb out, like just make it fun and hot and like sensual, and really lean into that, because Kenya is like, has that kind of nature to her. She's like really can lean into that. So I think it's going to be hard for her to stand out, which is the absolute thing she needs to do. Like the fact that she got a contemporary this week and she almost was eliminated is telling, because that's sort of like the here's an easy one. that's the dance where it's like comparing it to bowling. It's where they put the guards up on the gutters. You can't miss. Although I think she was underscored for her contemporary a little bit. But yeah, that'll be interesting. I think, like I like all of these dance styles for all of these people. A week off from Paso, which is good. A week off from Samba, which is good. And it'll be interesting to see who's in the bottom two, because I feel like probably Kenya will be one of them, but after that, there's no one left on the show who has been in the bottom two yet. So we're going to see who will be tested. Who do you think would join her, if assuming it's one of them is her, Cordell? Who do you think might do that?
Oof. Let's see. Looking at the list, I would say probably Cody. Could be someone that could be in the bottom, and maybe Jimmy. If this was like 2 weeks ago, I would have probably said like a Mel C or Melora. But I think that they've been able to inch their way up and deliver some memorable routines and kind of just show their personality. So I think either Jimmy or Cody will probably join Kenya.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Oh, I echo pretty much everything Cordell just said. Yeah, I can definitely see it being either Cody or Jimmy. Well, though, again, I guess if Kenya's safe, then I guess watch Cody and Jimmy make it in the bottom two. But yeah, I agree with what's been said already. That if Kenya's one of them, I can see either Cody or Jimmy joining her in the bottom two. I do feel that Cody and Jimmy are starting to look vulnerable right now. So yeah, it would not surprise me.
Yeah, I tend to agree with those. I think there's a chance someone else like a Melanie C or an Olivia Jade could, but that's if they struggle. Like, and by struggle, I even mean like if they end up sort of middle of the pack, then we might see a surprise where one of them lands in the bottom two. But most likely, I think, the bottom two, judging from what we've seen from them before, Cody, Kenya, Jimmy, some combination of those three, two of those three. So with that, we will find out what happens on Monday. We will talk about it again next week after that episode airs. We will all be dishing this during the episode as usual. And thank you so much, Jeffrey and Cordell, once again for joining me. Thank you to everyone for watching, and we will see you next week.